I feel very excited. So I played Hellfest last year, so that was actually like the first French festival. So this is the second one, and I'm very happy to be here. I did. I knew about it, and I was actually shocked when I came on stage, and I wasn't prepared that it was the biggest stage. So before the show, I have like my 5 minutes where I just, close my eyes and I just breathe. But then I closed my eyes and I was like, oh, fuck, this is huge. And I stepped outside and people were really like so happy to see me, and it was great. I mean, it was a very great experience. It was 11:20 or something. It was the first show at that day, and I was afraid in the beginning because I didn't know if people will show up, but there were so many. And I was so grateful for that, like the first Hellfest and then have so many people in front of you, that was amazing, yeah.
That's super impressive.
That's where the investigation is like the biggest part of it, because I'm trying to get myself into this case. And while I'm investigating the case, I have ideas in my head, and then I'm going to the studio and I'm trying to explain what I feel. And this is from this starting point, this is how it goes with the whole writing process. But it's a process. And if the question, if I answer it correctly, it's not hard to sing it, because I did my investigation and I made peace with it, because I'm going to release this case. In the end, it's a true crime case, and I'm aware of that. But it's not that I'm anxious, because if I would be, I would do the wrong job, if that makes sense. But I was nervous to release this song because I didn't want it to name the song after the killer. And Violets Are Blue is like the beginning of like maybe a new chapter as well, because in the beginning I wanted to call it Luca Magnotta or Chun Lin, but then I was like, he's such a big narcissist, he wants that, he wants fame. And that's where I got a little anxious, because that's when I changed it and I was like, no, I should listen to my gut feeling, because that's what I had in the beginning when I investigated the case. I was like, you shouldn't name the song after him, you should name it just Violets Are Blue. It's simple and effective. Yeah. So, for example, with Violets Are Blue, I had the case of Chun Lin. I had this case in my head for a very long time because I watched Don't Fuck With Cats. And it's like with all my songs, I have the topics, but if I don't hear anything or if I don't have like this spark of creativity, I'm not doing it. But if a case actually fuels my creativity, then I'm like, okay, I'm motivated to do it, and then it feels right to me to release it. When I was a really small child, I was maybe 3 or 4 years old, when my imaginary friend showed up for the very first time, and he introduced himself as Skynd. And we grew up together, and he started whispering, all those stories in my ear about true crime. And I think I was about like 7, 8, probably 9, I don't know. I heard the case of Gary Heitnick for the very first time because I had this little TV in my room, and he turned on the TV and it was Medical Detectives, and it was the case about Gary Heitnick. And I felt so, all the infos I had about this case felt so heavy. So he was sitting next to me and he was like, how does it make you feel? And I was like, it makes me feel anxious. It makes me feel not light, it makes me feel heavy. And he was like, maybe you should find something to let it out. And that's how I started singing, because I was writing down all the facts of the story. And then I started to find like the rhymes of the words. And that's how I started to just, taking all the facts and then seeing what rhymes with each other and then having a melody in your ear. And that's how I started singing. It was a real natural thing. And it was to actually, to make me feel lighter, to sing about it, to let all my emotions out. And that's how I can deal with it, with all the heavy facts. And that's how it started, yeah. Because I see myself as more as a visual artist, because I'm not just writing a song. I want to have the visual as well, because with the visual, it actually makes sense where I come from, and it gives you a bigger perspective and a bigger picture of the case. So Columbine was really important to me because of all the school shootings, because if we think about that, Columbine happened in 1999, and it's still happening. It's still happening. There hasn't been done anything about gun law in America. And that's why it was so important to me to sing about it, because when I watched, for example, Bowling for Columbine, this documentary about gun violence, people are not aware why this shit is happening. And that's why I wanted to point a light on it and show it from the perspective of the victims, because they are the ones suffering. And I'm happy that you told me that it brought you to tears, because it brought me to tears as well, because this is really happening still. And that's why I thought I need to cover that, because to me, this is like the biggest crime, that gun violence is still not like under control. Like, you can buy guns in Walmart. You can buy fucking guns at Walmart. So tell me that this is not okay. And that's why it was so important. And now, as you can feel as well, it makes me really emotional, because it seems like they're all blind to it. Because it's not allowed, it doesn't happen. And because it's allowed, it's happening. Simple as that. I mean, I get bored easily. That's why I need to change. That's why I need to change. It's just my persona as well. It's my character. I love to change. I love to try out new outfits, new colors. That's just who I am. I love to, just to dive into new ideas and just try it out and see how people react to it. And they actually like it, so I'm going to keep doing it. And even if they don't like it, I'm going to do it. So.
You're right.
It is awareness. Without sounding too grotesque, but I want to shine a light on it, and I want you to not forget about it. And with art, I feel like art can live forever. If we're honest with each other, songs can live forever. And this is still a reminder. And it's also my legacy. To me, it's so important to talk about it, because I feel like although all this violence and all that murder, people tend to just forget about it. It happened 3 weeks ago. Oh yeah, I forgot about it. But with this song, you might not. So that's maybe, without sounding too grotesque. But yeah, that's the main goal, to not forget. It always starts in childhood. But he wasn't born that way. He wasn't born that way. No one's born that way. There's a little percentage of people who are born with a brain injury or whatever. But in my opinion, humans don't get, like, they're not just bad for no reason. There has to be a reason, and most of the time it's mental health. It's maybe you didn't got the love you wanted as a child, so you start, getting those narcissistic traits. And that's a problem, and that's why we need to talk about it, because people think, oh, that's just a bad person. But that's not. Bad and good is actually like a concept of human. It's easy to just judge someone into good and bad, but you have to know the backstory. It's not just good and bad. This is way too easy. And we're all individuals, and we all have a different story. And I think we should listen to those people, even though it's hard. And I get that this is hard. If someone killed 10 people, I get that the question is hard. Why are you the way you are? But you have to ask it. You have to ask that question. Otherwise, you will never know. The Skynd, yes, the love of my life, the Skynd. I think I'm very grateful for them. I think to have such a strong community as I have, that's not just given. So I'm very grateful for that. And when I started being Skynd, I always wanted to have or to create a safe space for my fans or my supporters to hang out, talk to each other, maybe open up to each other, find friends, and that this is happening actually right now is the best thing. I'm so happy about that. Yes. Yeah, Bill Saber. Yes. Yes. can't tell you. I won't tell you. But yeah, there will be some collabs that will. Dear French fans, supporters, I love you and thank you for listening to my music.